Hey guys, how's it going? This is DeadlySlob. Today I have something really special for you guys. I have a 40-minute interview with Litoralis, also known as Lit. He's the community manager for the game Squad, and he sat down with me for 40 minutes to discuss Squad and answer a lot of questions Q&A style. So if you're a big fan of Project Reality or a backer of Squad, definitely sit down and take a listen to this interview. He's going to be answering a lot of the common questions that people are asking inside the community. Unfortunately, the Kickstarter is now over for this project. So if you were interested in backing Squad, you are currently unable to do that, and you will have to wait to purchase the game through their website, which will be available within a few days. A link to their website will be included in the description box below. And we also just concluded I just concluded a 14-hour broadcast playing Squad with other streamers and YouTubers like Sacriel, Rhino Crunch, Break, Hoggy, Ace Fury, and a lot of other people. So if you guys want to go watch some of the past broadcast footage of that event, I will also include that in the description box below. I also plan on having 1080p, 30 frame per second, and possibly 60 frame per second gameplay of Squad coming to the channel. This was recorded on my broadcast and it's 720p 60 frames per second. So obviously the game looks much better than what you guys are seeing right here. So anyways guys, without further ado, I'll let you guys enjoy the interview and I'll see you guys in the next Squad video. I have lots coming for Squad. So if you are interested, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have lots of gameplay coming, lots. I got over 14 hours worth. I'll see you guys soon. So, Lit is going to answer some of your guys' questions about Squad, so ask away, and I'll do my best.
What happened?
Alright, so I guess one of the most popular questions people are asking right now, and I'm pretty sure it was you guys, I'm just going to ask anyway. People want to know a little bit more about like your guys' projected release dates, especially when it comes to like alpha and how that kind of works with the Kickstarter. So I don't know how much you know and how much you can tell these guys, but yeah.
So, I don't want to be held to a tight schedule, but the concept here is if you buy a closed pre-alpha package, we will get you into the game mid-July, period. We are just not sure if that will mean like July 11th or July 18th or maybe July 12th or July 19th, but one of those middle weekends in July. Yeah, you get, for the Americans, you'll have July 4th weekend, and maybe the weekend after that, you will be able to play Squad.
Nice. Steam. I think you guys were talking about this earlier. Steam, it's greenlit for Steam. You guys are going to be selling the product on Steam?
Yeah, we went through Steam starting the Sunday of Easter, actually. So I think that was April 5th. Within 7 days, we hit #1 on Steam. 43,000 upvotes, but the really cool part was 96% approval rating, which is crazy. Like, that's never heard of.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I mean, we were making the game up to that point that we knew we wanted to play, and that the modding community, going back across when modding was more accessible, all wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't know how big the audience was, and it was a great affirmation to know that we were on the right track, and it really reinvigorated us after a long time there where we were just being real quiet, just working our butts off.
Yeah, I remember the teaser trailers, and I think that really got a lot of us excited, especially in like the Arma community, because I'm a huge Arma player. I've been playing Arma now for about 7 years, so everyone's been really curious about it, and to actually kind of jump in and kind of play it has been awesome.
Yeah.
We have a question from one of the, so for a lot of the Project Reality guys here. Will Commander be back in Squad?
Commander will be back in Squad. We have some, we're going to do iterations. So,
no, you can't scream this, sorry, man.
Reality and some other games, when you can call like off AI controlled artillery, or like the artillery shot, or whatever you want to call it. It's a disruptive game event that can't be countered. And one of our gameplay elements is that you can always have a real person counter another real person's attack.
Okay, so people are wondering the pledge required for the weapon customization hasn't been reached, but are you guys still interested in implementing that at some point in time?
We have a design document we tried to shoehorn our design document into the general concept of a stretch goal that you see in Kickstarter. It wasn't our communication of this idea was not the best in the first couple days.
Okay.
But that design goal is going to happen one way or the other. The question becomes how many of our guys can quit their day jobs or how many extra men can we bring on to do those things as fast as possible. And those numbers we put up would give you a general idea of the financing we need to get to those numbers.
All right. Or so after the pledge is over, you'll still be able to buy a squad for, through the website, correct?
Give us a week or so to process all the payments and set up server time. Our back-end staff, so to speak, is pretty small, so we're going to be stretched thin. But we will at some point put the game up to be on sale on the website.
Awesome.
I think it probably won't be until after the kickoff weekend of the closed pre-alpha, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of gets the backers in there first, and because obviously, they supported the game from the get-go, and you want everybody who's participated there to get into the alpha first.
Yeah, so we got to build out these 53 hours out to
100 man servers. Everyone's going wild over that. People love that.
I was probably got more sleep. If you look at if you bring up the map for a second, so yeah. A lot of this because we decided in the middle of a Kickstarter to
you can really see
the new upgraded Unreal Engine
4.8,
which is amazing. Like the updates in the engine are fantastic. That's why we're getting 10 frames today. We were implementing new code options, but unexpected bugs. So yeah.
I mean, there's always unexpected bugs. I mean, I'm a DayZ standalone player, so I mean, come on, this is working.
I bought DayZ standalone on the first day too. I was one of the first 50 open testers for DayZ.
Yeah.
Back in like April 2012, whatever that was.
So I think like most of my community, at least, we understand like the struggle and the hurdles. But man, I've been playing this game now almost 14 hours, and I only crashed once, and I haven't really experienced any bugs or any noticeable bugs. So it seems like this is a pretty stable build given the circumstances. I can't really play very easily very well. So
we'll add some cool stuff
because I'm reading chat, not playing. So I'm going to be dying like crazy. I'm going to be dying a lot. People want to know more about maps.
My bad.
So do you guys have like a kind of like a target stretch goal of how many maps that you guys are looking to make? Any particular game types or anything additional to that?
Yeah. So. We've all been playing tactical FPS games long enough to know you need at least 6 maps, probably 9 in a rotation, or you're going to hit this point where you know too many corners. You're going to know where to place a fob. So that's the number we want to get to at public release, which would be sometime, 1Q, 2Q, 2016. Building these maps is a monster. Yeah. I'll give it some time. And then, other side, we're thinking about making very small maps for either communities to train infantry, tournament style, or like 8 versus 8 ladders. So that'll be a separate subset of the project, which won't be these large maps like we're playing now. Game? You want to talk about game modes?
Yeah. If there's anything in particular.
Yeah, if I have any friends from Project Reality in the chat, maybe you could explain some of what we do. But we have a basic advanced and secure gameplay, which is like a multi-path lattice system. But we've been able to remove a lot of the bottlenecks we've seen. So it's going to be very open interpretation. Like we don't need a main base. We don't need an objective like drawn on the map before the round starts, so we can have randomized pathing every single round. There's a lot of cool stuff we're gonna do like that. We're gonna bring back our Insurgency mode, which will be asymmetrical combat, which is why you're seeing the Taliban now. It's harder to balance infantry between the scoped US and the mostly unscoped Insurgents. That's my favorite mode because it ends up using IEDs to attack supply lines, logistics, and
guys, I'm playing on medium.
Towns. That's a lot of fun. other kind of stuff, command and control, where you build one super fob on each team and then have to locate and destroy it with the other.
Nice.
And then maybe some vehicle warfare type maps, but we'll see what happens. We don't want to just make a big like fishbowl.
Could you explain the supply chain to fobs and how it's different from Project Reality? Because obviously right now, you know, putting down assets is pretty quick and doesn't require a whole lot of resource, or, you know, pretty much you can put down as many fobs as you want essentially. So is that by design, or is that just for convenience for the current build?
Right, so a lot of what you're seeing right now is convenience. We are pre-alpha. We need to make sure people didn't have to run too far just to get back into the firefights. We created like a supply tick system, so you get 5 supply points per tick, just to make it easy. But in the future, you will have to drive or fly a crate from a supply depot to a location to have those points available to build a fire base.
Nice. So helicopters then, right? You guys want to implement that?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Awesome.
Yes, they will be in the game. Yep.
Like, can you expand on that a little bit more? Like, what kind of vehicles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what you would consider standard U.S. Army fare, so logistics trucks, transport trucks, Humvees, some type of JLTV or MRAP or MATV, whatever. We're not sure which one will end up with. Light armored personnel carriers and IFVs. That would be the ground side, and then Insurgents are going to be more interesting because of the let's call it ingenuity of warfare we've seen in the Middle East in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty wild like cannons, homemade mortars, Dishka trucks, things like that.
Yeah, the Dishka truck we've actually brought into Project Reality, and it's a lot of fun. And the rocket techies that they're using in Libya, the Misrata area, yeah, stuff like that. We'll bring that in. What else do I want to talk about? Air assets, troop transport, logistics transport, little bird type recon helos, and then our minimum goal is to get to a CAS chopper, so like a close air support ground attack chopper.
Nice.
Jets are still in the air. That was a bad pun. The jets are stretch goals due to the fact that we're only a 4-kilometer map, and we don't want to make like a A10 go at only like 100 kilometers an hour, would be stall speed in real life. Like you've seen in other games where they like force the airspace to make everyone fly real slow. We're not sure we want to go there. That's
fair. That's fair.
There is a possibility we might be able to tile the terrain, but that's a ways off. So that wouldn't be like, that'd be like we're playing on 4-kilometer tile, and we can add a 4-kilometer tiles on each corner, and then the jets would at least have that area to fly over. So it would give us some possibilities. But that hasn't actually been implemented in the engine yet. There's something they're telling us is coming down the road.
I guess the next question kind of comes down to different types of factions. So I think you probably heard Hoggy and Sacriel kind of joking around today how they want the plays the British, and I'm just wondering, are you guys primarily focusing on the United States versus general insurgency, or do you guys have plans on expanding that to, maybe a different map has a different type of enemy or allied nation?
Yeah, so we're pretty much free to do what we want within a 1v1 system. So from our modding days, bread and butter, conventional versus conventional, and then the second was conventional versus insurgents. However, now we can even do more interesting stuff like Insurgents versus Militia. We can expand the gameplay. The game mode types can now change to like we can go back to like older modes like VIP extraction, convoy, search and destroy missions. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there we can do now. All the game modes get written up in C++, so most good coders can understand the logic in a couple days, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. I guess different weather types, that was a question that I asked. Or did you guys plan on having...
Yeah. So weather is a possibility. Our particle guy has already made some interesting rain effects. When you think, hey, let's add rain, okay, then you realize, hey, we have to add raindrops to the weapons, to the models, to every different type of material and every static. And you're like, now we see why like Arma 2 only used that sheet of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible in the engine. You're definitely going to see it in Unreal 4 games that are single-player adventure games, like like in the Skyrim genre. Can we do it with 100 players and all the networkables on a big FPS tactical shooter? Not sure.
Yeah.
However, what we know we can do is moving the sun. So if I don't know which shadow setting you're on right now.
I'm on medium right now. Just for convenience for stream. It still looks great though.
So the reason the shadows are so expensive right now is because they're completely dynamic. So there's not any baked shadows in the game because we have a real sun. So like between builds, we can shift the location of the sun. And then in the future, we'll be able to shift the location of the sun during each round. We probably won't do nighttime because of the gamma guys. Everyone, I'll even do it.
Yeah, that's a huge problem in DayZ. You know, rolling around, you'll be fighting against somebody who's like can't see 2 feet in front of their face, and then you'll be fighting against somebody who has their gamma turned all the way up. You know, they can see everything. They don't even need night vision goggles.
So that was one of the fights that Dean Hall lost. He was with me on this one, and he wanted to make sure that it was pitch black. Like the first couple weeks of DayZ at night was pitch black. However, there's no way to play the game if you didn't have NVGs. You were just a sitting duck. You literally log out and come back in 6 hours. So, not going down that route when we only have 2-hour rounds. Okay, sorry. So, we'll do dawn, so rising sun, or dusk raids.
Nice.
Which will be setting sun, which will be really nice. And we can do pretty full color spectrum in this skylight. So, it should be interesting.
Would there be a paratrooper type of scenario like Silent Eagle on PR? Or
possibly? Yeah, so the general concept we've been selling and which we're going to stick to is that we're going to do like enlisted infantry, not special forces. 82nd Airborne is not that, it's possible.
There was an interesting question about squads and fire teams. Do you guys have any ideas if you are interested in doing that? Okay.
Confirmed. What I can tell you right now is that squads of 9, 2 fire teams. So squad leader will take 4. That'll be a team A with 5 guys, and then there'll be a fire team 2, which he can assign as a 2IC in the squad. And then if the SL accidentally disconnects or whatever, the 2IC becomes the squad leader. But he's also going to be able to place his own markers. Oh, so we haven't put map markers like your 50-meter attack here, whatever. If everything goes as planned, like the fire team leaders are going to have their own ability to make sub markers inside the squad markers.
Oh, nice. That'd be awesome. Yeah, markers and maps. That's one thing I kind of noticed, like in this build, that Project Reality had that Squad currently doesn't have. Is just those custom markers, but obviously that seems pretty standard. Like you guys have plans to do that stuff, so
yeah, it's inbound.
Yeah, I guess
there's a complete overhaul on the UI coming, and we didn't want to just throw the markers in to throw the markers in.
Right. When it comes to equipment, I'm getting a lot of people who are interested. Obviously, mortars. So mortars was something that was in PR. Is it something that, with a different equipment, are you guys just going to be looking at standard RPG, stingers, rockets, or do you guys have plans to do, mortars and other different types of equipment that people can use on the ground?
Yeah, so probably mortars. Mortars themselves are amazing. Merlin, the founder of this project, who's the one that coded most of the mortars for Project Reality. They'll be here. Mortars has one downside is that it can destroy a fire base with no way to defend yourself.
Right.
Which can disrupt the flow of a game a lot. But once we get past that problem, I'm sure it'll be there.
Yeah, I guess you would have to make it like almost very, very hard to operate the mortar. Like almost like you need to be very skilled to do it.
We had Yeah, I mean, the one in Project Reality is a full calculators needed, the same that you'd use in the military. Problem is, you can download those calculators online, so it's not like we're going to make it...
Yeah, right.
It's not that hard to learn how to do this in a simulation.
He's down.
So we'll see what happens on that.
You guys, I know I've heard, maybe it was you talking about this afternoon, how revival is going to be in the game or some kind of medical system. So do you want to expand on that and kind of talk a little bit about how you guys plan on doing the medical system?
Yeah, so whatever FPS game you're playing, the medical system is always balanced with the time to kill number. And then it's really, if you have a functioning squad, how long do you want a firefight engagement to last? And do you want them to be able to completely revive and show up again in 30 seconds or a minute after they stick each other with magic EpiPens or not? We're going through the entire calculation of the time to kill, engagement time, lethality of different ammo rounds, and then the medic system is going to be a balance of that. And we don't want to make it too simulator. We don't want to make it magic EpiPen.
Yeah.
Trying to find some middle ground.
Will there be like different animations for, you know, slides or hurdles or any types of dives, or, you know, obviously you guys are looking to implement prone, so
I've heard talk of it. I shouldn't answer it because it's a huge amount of work for Chuck, Alice.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just chalk that up to like to be determined.
We'll get something. I just don't know what we'll get.
Okay. 1 second. I'm just killing the dude. Give me 1 sec. My guy is like pretty exhausted right now.
I think I'm getting the hang of this now. With the controls and stuff.
All right, that guy's dead. That was just in a little cat and mouse chase there. Destructible environments. I know this may not be the type of game where that may exist, but do you guys have plans on having like 40 mil grenade launchers break down a wall or like knock it over, or are you guys just very interested in just static environments?
Yeah. So one of the interesting things you can do in this engine is, instead of destroying the wall, you can actually create a force vector that goes through the wall. So in reality, the person will die as if the wall disintegrated, but it won't be a destructible wall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so imagine when it hits the wall, the force vector goes beyond it, through it, and if you're inside the house, you get killed anyway. We're having a big conversation about penetration and destructibles, which really go hand in hand, because you can't have penetration with a 50 cal sniper rifle if you're not going to penetrate with a tank shell, right?
Right.
And then for us, it's the balance between, hey, do you want a 4-kilometer map with high detail statics, or do you want destructibles? We don't think we can have both, because
right.
The networking of destructibles is very expensive on the netcode itself. I'm not the best guy to answer some of these technical questions.
No, it's all right. You're doing a good job.
Where do you want to spend your netcode? And we'd rather spend it having 100 players on the server than having an extra 100 destructible buildings.
Agreed. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think people would much rather play a nice, smooth, tactical shooter rather than another Battlefield copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going around just blowing stuff up.
From. And yeah, right. How much do I really care about that after a couple weeks of doing it? Didn't really affect me either way.
Right. True that. Yeah, I just haven't been able to put it down. I had some food and then I just came right back and I just been playing it and I don't want to stop. It's been awesome. I can't wait for all the people in the chat to kind of get in here and actually give it a shot, because it must be fun to like watch, but it's probably only half as fun to watch as it is to play. Like, it's so crazy and immersive, and especially the firefights, and especially whenever you have a super fob down, which is really funny.
Yeah.
You just have a big team, you know, barricade this compound, and there's like 40 mil shells coming in and, you know, blasting all around you, and people are putting down ladders, and yeah, it just gets so hectic. Like that first round this morning, I think was one of the best rounds, just kind of showcasing super fobs and how effective, you know, personal base building is. And also something else I noticed today was there's been so many battles where instead of fighting for the actual objectives, it's been a fob versus fob battle. Especially in the map we're playing on right now, where someone would have a big base up on a hill with a good sniping position, and then instead of going after the objective, people would you know, instead go after the super fob and take it out. I think that's a really good idea.
Kind of reminds me of command and control on PR.
Yeah. We're really happy with it. It's part of the multi-layered gaming. Chasing a flag because it says a name on the map, and it says you have to capture that flag, doesn't do us anything anymore. Yeah. Put so many hours into Planetside 2, chasing objectives that don't mean anything. But then you get to this point where, like, you know, meditating on it, the objectives of almost every one of these PvP games is pretty objective, and why are we doing it? And then you're like, well, we can make it a realistic scenario where you have to control your supply lines and maintain.
Oh, you cut off. There you go.
3 times while we're talking.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking fire, actually. We're getting... This is like a, you know, press interview during a firefight. It's kind of fun.
On top of
so we got multi-tiered, right? You got the logistics lines, you got your forward operating bases, which are the only place to spawn, and you got these objectives. And we're going to make all those vary every round. And the fobs themselves, and getting into and out of them, are going to be part of every round, and it's going to change every round depending on how you build the fob.
People are wondering about 8 versus 8 ladder systems, or any type of competitive play that you guys have planned, any type of tournaments or competitions with squad.
Yeah, so we let's see. So Project Reality itself has a long-term tournament system. I think they're in their 11th official season, but it's really like 14 total. And we've had other communities who run and host tournaments for other various FPS games. And we're trying to do something ourselves. When we get there, we're not quite sure. We're going to experiment with it. Z Trooper is going to be experimenting with CQB mapping, which will give us more options, so to speak. One of our stretch goals was a kill house.
Whoa!
That was specifically going to be like a dual-purpose mount training type map. So we to be able to do some 8 vs 8 test stuff, because there hasn't really been a lot of games like this that do these 8 vs 8 with such a quick time to kill, right?
Yeah.
So like 1 headshot, 2 body shots. It makes these rounds really quick. I played 1,000 hours of America's Army 2, 2.x, where that was the norm. But that was before everyone used to stream and make YouTube.
Yeah.
So no one cared if you died, because a round was 10 minutes. You just do some push-ups or something, and you'd be back in.
Right.
For this stuff, we're not exactly sure if there's a market anymore, so we're gonna find out.
Ah, cool, and that sounds awesome. Will other factions be able to use like different weapons? Like, let's say if you're on the Insurgent, will you be able to use an M4? Like, if you kill somebody, will you be able to take their kit? Do you guys have any plans for that?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
For a long time in Project Reality, it was very possible to do that, and they switched it. I still don't know. There's a guy here somewhere.
I kind of get why it wouldn't. For just squad balancing reasons, you don't want a squad going around killing a bunch of snipers, and then you have a squad of 5 snipers. You know, you don't want that, right?
Happen all the time.
Yeah. So you wouldn't want that. So that makes sense.
Even worse than the snipers, when you get an enemy that has 5 of your heavy anti-tank in an ammo crate, and all of a sudden you got like a wall of anti-tanks 500 meters across that you can't cross. So if we figure that out, we'll get to it and add it to the game. Might be this Grenadier on another team's really good. Might be possible for us to add small arms like an M4, but not like specialized sniper rifles to be picked up.
Right. I guess I mean that goes both saying, will you be able to, like, let's say on an Insurgent, I know you guys have weapon skins and things like that coming. Will you be able to, like, maybe customize what kind of weapon you use for each particular class for a faction? Like, let's say maybe you did want to... Sorry, I just got killed. Maybe you did want to implement maybe like a rusted up M4 that the Insurgents could use and switch that out, you know, in comparison to the AK?
Weapon customization. Skinning, we're not so sure about.
Okay.
Customization as in picking which optic and possibly doing like forward grips or no hand guard or something like that, maybe. If you take the look at the photos of M249 we put online, it was built completely modularly to real specifications. So we'd be able to move and exchange parts as necessary if we go that route. We're still not sure if we're going to go that route.
Okay. Sounds fair. How does the bullet ballistic system currently work? And is there bullet drop and different mechanics that affect your rounds, like wind or you know, anything like that?
So bullet ballistics were only added to the game about 4 days ago.
Okay.
Right now, they can be seen in the M2, the under barrel grenade launchers and the RPGs. To actually see it in game, like to actually be able to visibly see the gravity and drop and all that, the ballistics. Ballistics will be quasi-Newtonian game physics. Like we'll come close to something real, but it's not going to be real. Saving on calculation time. Probably not windage. Windage might be one step too far. However, you look. I mean, we're having conversations about it. So everything up to, but not including windage.
Okay.
Some adjustable sights probably for the sniper rifle. We'll have leaf sights for the under barrel grenade launcher and like Law or M72 or RPGs.
So suppressors, or do you guys have any plans of including those into the game?
There, I'd say no in any type of scenario for what you see from us in the early days of the game.
Okay, that's awesome. That's fine. Let me see here. So I guess with all these attachments and customizations that you guys kind of have this stretch goal for, the more you play, will you gain some kind of rank or experience that allows you to unlock these new features for your weapons that you can exchange for these classes?
Yeah, so generally the answer is no, and we've never been a fan of that. We come from Battlefield 2 and I guess even Arma, where you log into the server and you're a trained enlisted infantryman who has access to all the equipment you need to actually be a trained enlisted infantryman.
Okay, awesome. So just
yeah,
you'll just be able to fully customize your guns the way you like them right from the get-go because you need the equipment to do the job right.
Yeah. The answer I've been using is if you're an enlisted infantryman and your battalion or company commander would allow you to use that piece of equipment in battle, then if possible we might add it to the game. That's about the best I can give you.
From Doom Live, he asks a little bit about how you guys plan on updating the game and releasing content patches. Like, do you guys have any set goal? Like, obviously, you know, with obviously with other early access titles like DayZ, typically you can expect a new content patch, you know, every month or so. Do you guys kind of have plans to do something on a scheduled basis, or is it you guys just going to be completing tasks and releasing it when it's done?
Yeah, we have a really solid design document already set up, and we're just ticking boxes as we go through it. We're not working, like, we're working clean off a new engine, so we're not, like, DayZ, a lot of the times they're reusing code that's quite old without the original people that wrote it. But, yeah, so we're just going down our line of tasks, and we're going to make sure when we release stuff that it's balanced. Right, so even right now we have the RPG in, but we don't have a US lat kit in. Kind of problematic.
Right.
Man, I'm not the one to ask about coding schedule, like patch releases. I don't really have an answer yet. I can tell you that our coders, we have several coders who are going to be working on this full time. So I expect a lot of it to come in chunks as compared to small patches. So monthly updates and not like a rolling system. As soon as we can get into either late closed alpha or early access, we're going to move to Steam, where we'll have like a lot of other games, you'll be able to update directly through Steam through a beta branch. So it will be on you, like the early days of DayZ or the experimental Arma 3 builds, to do it yourself. Or I don't even know if that thing anymore in Arma 3, is it? No, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think there is an Arma 3 experimental, but yeah. Let's see here.
Okay, if you were with Arma 3 during the alpha, the pre-alpha phase, they had the experimentals you will download nightlies. Yeah, so we'll probably be like that until at least August, and then we'll switch over.
Okay, this is going to be the second last question. I guess weapon stances. So, being able to rest your weapon onto windows and, you know, when going prone and bipods and putting your weapon on knees or, you know, your buddy's shoulder or something. Do you guys have any plans on doing multiple stances inside the game, or are you guys going to keep it, you know, crouch, you know, standing and prone, and kind of limiting it to that?
We already have Harris bipods available to us. They've already been attached to the weapons and testing. We have not. We will have some type of weapon.
That's a great question, Master.
Something closer to a simulation type thing. However, we can't really give you a solid answer. But there will be weapon resting on stuff. We're not so certain about interacting with players. That's a lot of work. Every other game that's tried it has gone through a lot of help.
Okay, I guess I'll finish this off, I guess, with the last question of the night. Just kind of, I know you guys have been, it's been a long day, so, you know, I don't expect you guys to be on here, you know, answering questions for 2 hours.
Sorry,
I guess the last question will be, go ahead.
Sorry, I had the alt tab out. Go ahead.
Backblasts. I know Acre mods.
Already in the game visually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already in game visually. You might need to do a single player RPG kit for the Insurgents to see it. We will create a 3-dimensional vector damage field around it. It's gonna be cool.
I can't wait to just be like yelling out clear backblasts and just like seeing all your guys like moving. Ironically, I just see this guy who fired an RPG up here on the hill. But no, that's awesome. So like damage vector, it'd be so funny to see some newer players go right behind an RPG and get blasted back. And oh man, it sounds awesome. Well, thanks, Lit, man. This was really cool. Thank you for stopping by and answering some questions for the guys here in the audience. And I think everyone, without a doubt, can say that they had a hell of a lot of fun today. Like, no matter what stream they were watching, you know, when it comes to Sacriel or
loving it.
Augie or Acer. Yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun, man, and you guys are doing, from what it seems to be doing, like a kick-ass job. So everybody in the chat, you know, get those fists up there and, you know, give a round of applause for Lit. This shit is amazing, and I think everyone is going to be really excited to get their hands on this in July.
Put more guys and more men.
Man, you're going to be seeing it. You're going to get annoyed with me, man. I'm going to be in here. My girlfriend's going to hate me. you guys are gonna rip the social life.
They're already upset with us. Yeah.
I guess add another one to the list, man. Another one to the list. All right, Lit. Well, I think I might grind it out. I might be here until you guys close up the servers. How long are you guys planning on keeping them up?
3 hours, and then I'm going to sleep for a long time.
Awesome, dude. All right, man. Well, have a fantastic night, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, dude.
Cool. Take it easy, guys. Thank you, everyone. And thank you. Come by again. Contact me anytime. We'll get you on these servers as many days a week we can.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it.